Okay, fam, it is June 13th, 2026, and it's approximately 3:21 p.m. on that eastern side. We flipped the pose. It might be western. Hear me out. We about to watch a video that's about 14 to 10 minutes long. And of course, I'm going to jump in here and again just to get my little 2 or 3 cents. But it's called The Matrix and Toy Story are the same movie. And it's by at Truth Is on YouTube. And of course, I'm going to put the information in the description box. And if you want to donate, feel free to do so to my channel or to at the Truth Is. Here we go, y'all. Let's get into it.
Did you know that The Matrix and Toy Story are actually telling the exact same story? Believe it or not, Neo and Buzz Lightyear are actually the same character. I know that sounds insane, but it is actually true. And it's not just these two movies that are following.
So, Neo and Buzz Lightyear, they're the same character. Let's get into it. I won't interrupt for a little bit more.
This blueprint. In fact, you will be surprised at just how many blockbusters are inspired by the same ancient tale without you even realizing it. I am going to show you how Hollywood is constantly repackaging this story and reveal the source material all these movies are inspired by. By the end of this video, you will see this story in everything you watch. In The Matrix, Keanu Reeves plays Neo, a computer hacker who discovers that his whole world is a lie and everything he thought he knew isn't real. When he finally takes the red pill, he has to come to terms with the fact that his entire reality, everything he once thought had purpose, doesn't matter anymore. He's just a human battery that powers the machines. The Matrix is by far one of the deepest movies ever made, and many see it as a powerful metaphor for our reality. So how in the world could it be compared to a children's movie about toys? You're probably sitting there thinking there's no possible way. But I'm here to tell you there is, and I will prove it. The story told in The Matrix is exactly the same as the one told in Toy Story, specifically the arc of Buzz Lightyear. In Toy Story, Andy is gifted Buzz Lightyear for his birthday. When Buzz meets the other toys, he genuinely believes he's a real space ranger. When Woody tries to tell Buzz the truth, he completely refuses to believe him. But eventually, Buzz sees a commercial showing him as a toy, and his reality shatters. He watches a commercial showing hundreds of Buzz figures on the shelf, complete with the disclaimer not a flying toy. He sees the truth for himself, and it completely destroys him. His first instinct is to doubt what he just saw, so he climbs up the very top of a staircase railing and tries to fly out a window to prove the TV wrong. But all he discovers is that he is, in fact...
Hold on. This part in the movie absolutely devastated me completely, because even as a young one or as an adult, I realized that in that moment, he saw that his reality, it wasn't real. Let's get into it.
Just a toy. He falls flat on the ground and his arms pop right off. Just like Neo, Buzz had to come to terms with the fact that his entire reality was a sham. He wasn't this cosmic space ranger fighting evil. He was a plastic toy that solely existed to fight a child's boredom. Now you may think it's simply just a coincidence and that two movies having similar plots is common in Hollywood. But before you brush this off, it is not just these two movies sharing this blueprint. Many other films are about the exact same false reality that the protagonist needs to wake up from so they can realize their true purpose. Movies like The Truman Show or Coraline also follow this theme to a T. But before we dive into those movies and reveal the connection there, we first need to analyze the ancient tale that inspired all these films in the first place. This story goes way back to before movies were even a thing. In the late 1st to early 2nd century AD, a group of like-minded people created their own spiritual belief system because they disagreed with the traditional religious beliefs of the time. Today, scholars compare this group's belief system to almost like a religious fan fiction that blends a bunch of other spiritual systems.
So let's pause for a moment and let's take a look at what we see. And then let's not forget the symbolism that we saw maybe 20 seconds prior to this. Screenshot everything and do your own research.
All of these spiritual stories, this group constructed their own creation myth that centuries later became the most used story in Hollywood. Now, their belief system is extremely complex and uses a lot of titles and phrases that just overcomplicates things. So what I am going to do is give you guys an easy to understand overview of what they believed. I will leave the name of this group in the comments for those who want to do deeper research into this. Basically, this group made their own explanation for reality that is very different than anything else people believed. Their story claimed that the reality they lived in was a false one, created by a being that was pretending to be God. They essentially compared the world to a matrix, an illusion created by this imposter god for an alternative reason. Just like how in the Matrix, reality was created by the machines to keep the humans pacified as they drained them, this group believed that this imposter god created their reality to use them as his battery. They believed this imposter was charged by their praise. In order to keep this false reality running, the imposter created helpers who were there to make sure humanity never escapes. They also believed that they were essentially prisoners in this false reality, and the only way they could escape this prison was through special knowledge that would give them the answers. This truth did not just appear out of nowhere. It was delivered to them by a heroic angel character whose sole purpose was to guide them to the exit. Once they came to the realization that their reality was a false one, they needed to find this special knowledge that would connect them back to the real God they believed in. The important takeaway is that they see the world as a false reality or a matrix created by an imposter god, and they believe special knowledge that leads to important self-realization.
Okay, I didn't catch it, but they showed it again about less than 10 seconds ago. Screenshot that symbolic page. Do your research. I love y'all.
Is the answer to
Did your child start using Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, or
escape in that prison? You likely already noticed that this is the exact same story as the Matrix. In the Matrix, reality is a digital illusion humanity is plugged into. Everything they're experiencing is completely fake. All the meaning they had given themselves, their jobs, their accomplishments, their relationships, were all fabrications used to trap them in this matrix by the machines. The imposter god in this movie becomes the machines. The agents in the Matrix keeping humanity trapped are his little helpers. That is the same false reality from this ancient creation story. Just like in their story, Neo is only able to escape this Matrix after he is given the special knowledge by Morpheus when he takes the red pill. Morpheus is the hero angel character. With the Matrix, it actually gets way deeper than this, as the story borrowed a lot more aspects of Neo from this ancient tale. But I don't want to spend the entire video talking about the Matrix. The good news is, I already have a full breakdown that is way more in depth breaking this down. So if you want, you can watch it after this one. But while the Matrix is an obvious example, let's look at one that's a bit more indirect and a more lighthearted version. The movie The Truman Show is basically if the Matrix were a comedy movie. Instead of Keanu Reeves' serious face, you get Jim Carrey goofing around for an hour and a half. But believe it or not, these two are the exact same movie. In The Truman Show, Jim Carrey is unknowingly living inside a reality TV show that he believes is his real life. He goes to work every day, interacts with his neighbors, and goes back to his wife believing he is just living out his actual life. But he eventually is told the truth by an actress who feels bad for him. Just like Buzz in Toy Story, Truman refuses to accept the truth and doesn't understand. But eventually, the illusion crumbles when a giant production light falls from the sky. Then he starts noticing inconsistencies in everything. He's scanning through the radio channels and picks up a strange conversation that seems to be following his every move. He starts noticing that his wife is always talking like she's in a commercial, and that the town always prevents him from leaving when he tries. Eventually, he uses the special knowledge to come to the realization that his reality is false. He is just a character trapped in a reality show that has been going on since he was born. Everything he thought he knew was a lie created by a showrunner who was using his existence to fuel the success of his show. All the people Truman was interacting with, from his neighbors to the townspeople and even his wife, were all actors selling the illusion and keeping him trapped. Just like Neo, he was only able to free himself once he found the secret knowledge and came to the realization of his reality. This is clearly the exact same story borrowed from this ancient belief. Truman is the man trapped in a false reality, which is the reality show itself. The showrunner is the imposter god using him, and the actors are his helpers making sure he never escapes. He only escapes after the hero angel character Sylvia plants the seed of knowledge in his mind. As you saw earlier, it's not just movies for older crowds. Animated films aimed at children also incorporate this story. In Coraline, a little girl moves into a new home with her mother and father. After feeling bored and neglected by her workaholic parents, she is led by mice to a secret, tiny bricked-up door in her living room. At night, the door opens up to a parallel universe where she discovers her other mother and her other father. They treat her exactly how she dreams her parents would treat her, showering her with attention and love. But unbeknownst to her, her other mother has a sinister plan behind their kindness. This other mother's ultimate goal is to trap Coraline and keep her in this false reality.
Okay, so this is another movie, Coraline, that I was like, what in the baby powder are y'all fucking trying to teach me right now? Like, when I watched it with my children now, I was like, okay, this is something they could watch. I let them watch it or whatever. I didn't watch it. But with me watching it as an adult, I absolutely was like, what the fuck? All right, let's keep going.
So she can sew buttons into her eyes and feed off her emotional energy. Coraline is only able to escape the other mother after a cat gives her the special knowledge that reveals what this
And it's the black cat. Let's keep moving around.
false reality truly is. I am pretty sure I don't even have to point out how this is identical, but for the sake of telling the story, the other reality is obviously the false reality. The other mother is the imposter god trying to use her, and the cat is the savior archetype who gives her the special knowledge to escape. But while Coraline was a bit more coded, the Lego movie has to be the best example of this story being used for a children's blockbuster. In the Lego movie, the main character, Emmett, is a construction worker living in what seems to be a perfect city. He wakes up every day and blindly follows the rules like he is told. He completely believes this city is his reality and has no idea he is living inside a replica town built by a Lego collector played by Will Ferrell. Then he meets Wildstyle. She perfectly embodies the role of the heroic angel character we see in every movie. She guides Emmett out of his normal routine and delivers the special knowledge that
And just with the whole, the hair movement of the I ain't with that one eye shit, right? So if you ever see me in a video and one of my eyes covered up, I ain't with that shit, right? And people will try to fucking pause the video and be like, look, her little black lip ass with that one eye shit. No, I'm not. What I'm explaining to you is what you just saw was I have to go watch the Lego movie now. The truth is you ain't shit, but you are the shit. Let's keep moving.
his entire reality is being controlled, and that he actually has the power to break the rules as a master builder. The imposter god in this story is Lord Business. He is a corporate dictator obsessed with perfection, trying to freeze everyone in place so they can never step out of line or think for themselves. He uses his robot enforcers and the police as his helpers to make sure the population stays completely oblivious and obedient. And just like Neo waking up from his pod, Emmett eventually falls completely out of the Lego board when Will Ferrell's son in the movie drops him. This is when he discovers the ultimate truth. He realizes he is just a toy on a basement table being moved around by a child. Tell me that you see that this is just the same story repackaged. The Lego city is the false reality. Lord Business is the imposter god trying to keep everyone trapped. The robot enforcers are the helpers, and Wildstyle is the angel who brings the special knowledge to wake the hero up. Now, if you're not convinced yet, this example is guaranteed to change how you see everything. This show is by far the ultimate example of this ancient story being recycled over and over again. Now, if you're a fan of the show From, the concept of a false reality created by an imposter god should feel familiar.
Never seen someone driving it.
From is by far the most direct retelling of this ancient story you're gonna find coming from Hollywood. From follows the residents trapped in a mysterious town called Fromville, a scary town that, once you enter, you can never leave. That isn't even the worst part. At night, monsters come out to eat the townspeople one by one. The only way to survive the monsters is by hiding in homes that are protected by special talismans. The whole show follows those trapped in this false reality trying to survive and find a way out. But in order to find that exit, they must first uncover the special knowledge that unlocks the answers to why they're there to begin with. Eventually, they discover that Fromville is a false reality created by an imposter god known as the Man in Yellow. This imposter likes to feed off the townspeople's hope and fear until they have nothing left, and then he eats them. This is once again the exact same story, but in the most literal way possible. Fromville is the false reality, literally a prison created to trap people. The Man in Yellow is the imposter god who created the town to feed off the people he traps, and the monsters are his helpers that are there to keep people from escaping. The only way the townspeople can fight back is by finding the special knowledge like the talismans and the visions. When I am telling you that From is completely layered from head to toe with concepts from this ancient story, I mean head to toe. I could have literally spent the entire runtime of this video talking about this show alone. In fact, I would love to cover this show in a standalone episode if you guys are interested. If you want to see that, comment from below. And if I see enough of you interested, I'll make sure that is the very next video.
Hold on, y'all. We about to comment. And we're going to put from. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. And, and make sure y'all put from. Let's keep it moving.
By now, you should see that this ancient story is one of the most told by Hollywood. It is used in philosophical movies like The Matrix, children movies like Toy Story, and horror thriller shows like From. While all of these movies and shows seem completely different from a distance, when you deconstruct the story and line them up with the other big movies, you quickly see it's the same story just told differently. For some reason, people seem to love hearing this story over and over again because almost every time, the films telling this story become massive hits. Is this the cheat code writers use to make sure their movie becomes a blockbuster? Or is there another deeper reason this story resonates so deeply with the audience? While we covered several movies and shows, believe it or not, this is only touching the tip of it. There are so many TV shows and huge movies that tell this same story. Avatar and Star Wars are two massive films that also tell this story, believe it or not. But I thought I should save those for a part 2. Let me know if you want a part 2 below. When I tell you this ancient belief is a complex one, I mean complex. This entire thing goes really deep with so many layers. I actually broke it down a bit more in this video I did about Jim Carrey a few months back. If you want to know more about this story that inspired all these movies, watch this video right now. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to subscribe, like, and hype this video.
Alright, so of course, the information is going to be in the description box in order for you to go over to At The Truth Is to get a better perspective, and you ain't gotta hear my motherfucking voice, and you might have some ads, but I tried my best to skip over the ads. However, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to At The Truth Is, and my information is going to be in the description box as well. So why am I doing all the hand movements I be seeing other people do? I don't know, but whichever way it goes, subscribe or don't, we'll be in your algorithm. Peace, light, love, and darkness, because of dark matter. Peace.